basketball team at this point in the season.
LSU, a 10-point lead over Indiana. Second half, regional final. They steal the ball again. Here comes the defensive.
Great play by Isle.
Isle gets it back.
Boy, this could be a 4-point turnaround.
Alford cut off by Brown. Stayed with the shot. Daryl Thomas at the glass. He tries to muscle it up, and finally the foul is called on Joe. Joe goes right out to the referee and said, all I did was take the ball away from him.
Let me tell you something about this young man that I'm watching right now. He has to be incredibly strong. And Dale Brown came up with a new stat on him. Arm span discrepancy.
What?
He said he has the biggest arm span discrepancy of any player he had. That means that his arms are that of a 6'8 man, only that he's 6'2.
Now Bob Knight's going to call a timeout. Down by 10, 12:57 to go. Knight wants to talk about it.
When you want the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer, ask for Miller Genuine Draft, the Miller with the green label.
Green?
Just kidding, guys. Ask for Miller Genuine Draft, the Miller with the black label.
That's not funny, pal.
Telecommunications simply means making a connection. Me to you, A to B. When that meant creating a communications network 22,000 miles above the Earth, they called Contel. When it meant a 16-phone system at the Omaha headquarters of Vic's Corn Popper, they called Contel. Small business, a tall order. Contel can help you communicate better, too. For Contel, I'm Charlton Heston.
Once, there were a few proud men of adventure, men of courage, men who knew the meaning of honor. There still are, the Marines. We're looking for a few good men.
When you want the rich, smooth, fresh taste of real draft beer in a bottle, ask for Miller Genuine Draft. The Miller with the black label. It's beer at its best.
Yesterday, Providence, Syracuse stage upsets. Now it's LSU's turn, and Rick Callaway returned the Indiana lineup. He came out of the locker room, and he ran around the arena behind the first row, testing the knee, and he said it felt fine. This is Callaway on her feet. Alford is fouled.
Joe reaching in again, trying to help Woodside out. No question on that foul.
This is good news for Dr. Tom Davis in Iowa. They're an underdog in the game to follow us. Iowa and UNLV from Seattle. Shark, get ready. This is some weekend we've got. Smart gets inside. Great athletic ability, but the field goal.
Oh, what hands!
And Brown comes out.
What hands! That reminded me of one of those animals that catch those flies with their tongue. It just... Oh, no.
Wilson.
How could that happen? Had to be a mismatch inside. Somebody walks in. That was Daryl Thomas, and Bob is hot.
12. LSU leads off Garrett out of bounds. Garrett was still a little upset at himself at the defensive end when he let Nikita open.
And Brent, you know who got frustrated on that one? Steve Alford. If you can see him right now, he's trying to tell those guys to concentrate. That was a great pass by Alford. Should have been handled.
The last team standing in the Southeastern Conference leads the co-champion of the Big Ten.
Screen. Joe.
Yanked off by Garrett. Now, Indiana trying to stop a 10-0 run right now.
That's going to be on Woodside. That's his sport. And what happened there, Alford is such a great competitor that he just been taking him one-on-one and rubbing him right off those screens, and Woodside finally couldn't take any more. Look at him. He's trying to run through the screen, doesn't get there, and there he gets the foul.
That's foul number 4 on him.
Now look for Jose Vargas to come in, Oliver Brown probably to switch over on Alford, and Woodside to come out. That's what I'd expect to see.
Remember how well Indiana shot the first half? Well, that field goal by Garrett ends the 10-0 run, and they are 3 of 11 this half against this LSU defense. That's the first point scored by Indiana in 5 minutes. It's a 10-point LSU lead. Vargas is up talking to the coach.
Joe would have been moving. He had an easy shot there.
Brown comes inside, spins out. Indiana can ease to within 8 at the 11-minute mark.
Crowd doing a good job, mostly partisan Indiana people trying to get their team going.
Woodside continues to hound Alford.
Garrett's got position and not hitting him with the ball down low.
Combination man-to-man zone.
Right, you got a box and one. They've used it the whole second half. They didn't show this the first half at all. See, that's a double team on Alford.
Smart.
2. Nice run by Indiana.
Rejection.
Garrett, a great shot blocker inside. Thomas doing a lot of pushing. There's going to be a foul in there.
There it is. Alford is first.
Into the game for the Tigers,
The spurts that Indiana has shown versus Auburn and Duke, 2 previous games that Indiana put away as Jose Vargas checks in.
That's going to be Vargas in, Woodside out, kind of anticipated. And that'll put probably Oliver Brown being the guy that matches up with.
Watch it. Now, Alford figures to see what he can do with Woodside off of it.
Oliver Brown's no slouch. Again, it's the right kind of athlete to put on a shooter like Alford because you've got some size.
Vargas.
Rennie comes off that bench every time and hits that first one. You might as well double team him because he never passes it out the first time he catches it inside.
Oliver Brown, 6'6", goes with Alford. Indiana muscles inside, drawing the foul on Vargas, his second. Now, LSU has picked up 5 team fouls with 9:22 to go, and Indiana only 2.
foul number 5 on
One
the
of the
Tigers.
things I just saw there, to me, is not a good sign. As well as LSU played, I saw all the players look up at the score. You don't like guys to be thinking score and time at this stage in the ball game when they're on the floor. A long way to go up there. Joe just took another peek up at the scoreboard.
Remember, your days at Wake Forest, you'd never check the scoreboard to
Now,
see.
only at the end of the game. If you're really playing a ball game, you don't want to be looking at the score. Vargas looked up at the score. It's a sign that you say, can we hold on? Instead of let's get more. And low.
There it comes away from Indiana. Snap, not a good pass. LSU comes down with a break. Joe coming Smart with him. This is the layup. Thomas is there. Great move defensively by Smart. Now he pressures the ball at the other end. Comes into the glass. Tosses it in. Great play by Smart at both ends.
Got to be timeout, LSU.
Vargas and Nikita Wilson is there. Fouled on the play. Garrett's third.
Into the game for the Tigers, Fess Irvin wearing number 4.
Now Fess Irvin checks in for LSU.
Foul is on Team Garrett and
Brett, on that last fast break, only Key Smart. As a matter of fact, I don't know of many athletes in the country. Maybe we saw one the other day, Maxwell from Florida. About the only guys I know of could have chased Joe down, had the speed and the leaping ability to stop that last fast break.
Villiers, discrepancy at the free throw line. Indiana with a 12-point advantage, make it 11. That is the second free throw for LSU in this game. Out of 6, Indiana has hit 13 of 15. Nikita Wilson's first free throws of the tournament. Hard to believe someone who plays as tough as he does inside. That's the first time all tournament long that Nikita Wilson has gotten to the line. 67-59 LSU over Indiana.
Oh, that's okay. It hit the referee. But the reason I don't think he gets fouled a lot is he's so quick you can't get to him before he gets a shot off.
Alford inside through the foul from LSU. So he will come up to that free throw line. That's the second on Nikita Wilson.
That's his second foul.
Here comes Oliver Brown going through the trenches. Bang, that's an illegal screen. And he brings it right back. Vargas should have held his ground there, had no chance to block it, and had that shot missed, he wouldn't have been in position to rebound.
Trying to score for the first time this half, and he does. All 18 of his points come in the first half. With the 8-minute mark, Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati. 67-61 LSU.
He had 8 of them from the foul line in the first half, so now he's got 10 points from the line.
Vargas and Thomas with contact, and the foul is on Thomas, his second. And next, we'll take you out to Seattle. The West Regional Final, Iowa, the Big Ten, UNLV, the PCAA, the Running Rebels, the top seed out there, and Iowa, the second seed. So far, this has not been a good tournament for number 1 seeds. 2 fell yesterday, a third in trouble here.
And that was Indiana's only their 4th foul in this half. Irvin. It's a 2. Here's a young man recruited by everybody in the country. Thought he'd be a solid blue-chip freshman player. He had his problems when Maxwell and Moten from Florida destroyed him, lost some confidence, lost his job.
Vargas comes up and fouled him. And just see him applaud the official on the call. Jose Vargas out of the Dominican Republic. One of the things that Dale Brown liked about him is the fact that the young man's mother was forced to move to Puerto Rico to get a job. He stayed home and raised his younger sister. And Dale Brown says, I'll take anybody with character like that. And Jose Vargas, who was not a well-honed basketball player, has shown great improvement down at LSU.
You know, my buddy Al McGuire makes a statement. Why guys from that part of the country develop quickly is because they're soccer players and they have good foot movement. You believe
buddy Al McGuire count up the number of baseball players that come out of the Dominican Republic. They don't kick the ball down there, they pick up the ground ball. Here's Anthony Wilson making a 2. LSU wanted a 3, but he was over the line according to the referee. Now 7:05, 71-62, LSU over Indiana. Garrett.
Now, what happened there? Nikita Wilson was trying to help on Alford, who was going out on the block. And when he did that, that left Garrett wide open inside. Indiana spotted it well. Galloway's looking like he's moving pretty good on that leg.
Vargas jumps it up short. Indiana comes away, and the Hoosiers starting to put together a little bit of a run.
Dale Brown's got to be thinking Woodside again here pretty soon. Get some more size out there.
On the turnover, LSU breaks away. A big moment for the Tigers.
And Bobby Knight's making a substitution that's very interesting. Hillman, who distributes the ball very well, coming in.
Garrett gets the roll. 17 points for Dean Garrett. At the 6-minute mark, LSU 73, Indiana 66.
Alford picking up his defense now at a little higher. Now Anthony Wilson giving Indiana some of their own medicine with all those screens inside, but that's not a good shot.
Missed the three, and Garrett wound up with still another rebound. That's 12 rebounds for Dean Garrett here this afternoon. Alford works down the baseline. Garrett couldn't get the handle, couldn't hold on to the ball, and LSU breaks out again. Indiana not executing, unusual for them. Missed shot by Nikita Wilson.
What a play by Garrett defensively. And here comes Smart again on the run.
Can't get it to fall. Anthony Wilson back. It's 3-on-2. Irvin in the middle. Pulls up the 2.
Everybody's getting tired, Brent. This is some run right here.
Crunch time, and LSU holding the lead.
Alford has to be careful. He doesn't try to do too much by himself here. Really takes some court discipline.
Callaway.
Why?
Is the jam.
Why? He had a layup.
Frustration starting to mount for Indiana as Callaway, instead of going for the layup against Vargas, tried to jam. Hit the rim too hard. It bounces away. Timeout.
She's from Western.
Of all the airline mergers, one really stands out because it's the people of Western joining the people of Delta. And when pros start working together, you know what you have? An all-star team. That's how the best get better.
This is going to be quite a team. You're right.
The best get better. Delta Airlines.
Chevrolet Beretta.
The heartbeat of America.
Beretta.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Some party, huh? And everybody's drinking caffeine-free Diet Coke. It's the happening drink. Hey, same incredible taste as regular Diet Coke, one wacky little calorie. And hold the caffeine, pal. So grab yourself a caffeine-free Diet Coke and relax.
The caffeine-free you drink just for the taste of it with 100% NutraSweet.
Love your scar.
The possibility of a third straight upset looms in the NCAA regional final. Indiana with a couple of team fouls to give. Both coaches with sufficient timeouts at the possession arrow, jump ball situation or held ball. Indiana's turn. Billy, I would point out that Steve Alford, he has really played a couple of games here. He was quiet early, and then he picked it up down the stretch in the first half. Then, in the second half, he has gone 0 for 3. Now, he's the main man of this team. And there's what he has in the second half, only 2 points. LSU's bench has provided 18 points today. The high-scoring men. I think the Hoosiers must get Alford some shots now.
Well, it's tough against that box and one, particularly with a bigger man on him. They might try to move him out up a little bit higher to get the shot off. He's been doing everything on the baseline.
Long three, not there. Garrett's rebound, and here they come.
You know, LSU has forgotten about Nikita Wilson the last 4 or 5 times down the floor. They better start getting the ball in his hands.
It'll be Callaway inside and jammed in strong.
Boy, Garrett.
19 for Garrett.
He's doing it on both ends of the floor. Let's see if LSU starts thinking about getting Nikita the ball a little bit here.
Steal.
You thought Nikita was coming.
Joe Hillman, who checked in, went to the glass. Blocking foul, scored the field goal. And Joe Hillman, who is coming off the bench, the 6'2 junior from Glendale, California, gives the Hoosiers a huge lift against Dale Brown.
That was quite a substitution by Bobby Knight. He puts Hillman in to distribute the ball, gives Smart a little rest.
And that the 5th foul on the key defensive player here today, Bernard Woodside. The man who hounded Steve Alford fouls out of the game at the 3:45 mark.
Smart is coming back in for Hillman. Bobby Knight wanted to give him a little rest. Really great when you have a kid come off the bench and can be thinking like Hillman was in that play.
I'll tell you something about Joe Hillman. What's interesting about him, he is Bobby Knight's first recruit west of the Mississippi. Now, he's a sophomore in eligibility, but he's a junior back at school. And he has just given Indiana a huge lift. Dale Brown will try to ice him down with a timeout.
When the temperature drops below 30, remember the spark plug that's tested to start below 0. Champion, we go to ridiculous extremes to test the reliability of our spark plugs.
When a family moves, State Farm is there.
I'm State Farm agent Bob Scatina. This family, the Nilsons, just moved into town. They said it took them a while to find a new doctor and a new dentist, but finding a new insurance agent was easy. They liked the way their State Farm agent back in Montana handled all their family insurance. So all they had to do was look for this sign. And you could find one almost anywhere.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Bear.
Would you like a mid-size, Mr. Bayer?
Huh?
Chevrolet Corsica? Collision damage waiver?
Mm-hmm.
Personal accident insurance?
Mm-hmm.
Trip to Ireland?
Ireland?
Now there's a program that rewards frequent renters with upgrades, convertibles for the summer, even trips to places like Ireland. National's Emerald Club.
I was only going to Toledo.
It can make frequent trips to Toledo a little more fun.
Billy Packer, Dale Brown leading Bobby Knight by 5. What happened the last time these two hooked up in the NCAA tournament?
Well, it was a ball game that I'll never forget. 1981, Bobby Knight eventually won the NCAA, but at halftime I really thought, now Dale had a great group of athletes at that time also, and one that he had was a guy named Ethan Martin, who really took it to Isaiah Thomas in the first half of that ball game, almost to the point that Bobby had to put Isaiah down. But all of a sudden in the second half, Indiana came back, took over, and then went on to win the NCAA championship.
Hillman, after the timeout, completes the three-point play, and Smart replaces him. And a rousing ovation for Joe Hillman.
A lot of time.
LSU up by 4, 3:40. One just to sit back and enjoy.
Peter Wilson's got to touch it, Brent. He's got Thomas on. Vargas loses it on the dribble. They're getting it to the wrong man. Double low screen for Steve Alford. They want him to get that jumper.
Thomas, he drives, draws the foul from LSU off the shot. He'll shoot the free throws. 3 personals on Nikita Wilson. Here is Daryl Thomas, who attended the same high school. You referred to that 1981 game. Isaiah Thomas was the floor leader of Indiana. Daryl Thomas, who is no relation, attended the same high school outside of Chicago as Isaiah did. St. Joseph's, Westchester.
I think I probably ought to point out for Isaiah's sake.
There is Daryl Thomas's mother and father.
But when Isaiah came off that bench the day later, that was the day President Reagan was shot, he was all world in that final game.
Allowing the sub to come into the game, Daryl Joe.
Dale Brown has now got a guard offense in the game. He puts down Jose Vargas. He's going to try to spread it out a little bit here. And Indiana is used to playing against this kind of offense, so it shouldn't bother the Hoosiers.
LSU timeout. That will leave Dale Brown with 2. 3 minutes to go. LSU ahead of Indiana by 2.
Okay, life insurance. Whose policies have made more money out of the top company? Northwestern Mutual Life. So who was number 1 in 85? Huh? Okay, 5 years ago. 10, 20, 50. Wow. If they've done that well in the past, who should I buy from in the future? Guess I didn't need a computer to figure that out. I'll give one of their agents a call. The winds of change are blowing at today's Chevrolet. Put yourself in today's Chevrolet Corsica and feel the winds of change.
The heartbeat of America.
Corsica.
That's today's Chevrolet.
Today's weather brought to you by Michelin. Bright, sunny, and seasonably warm. Partial clouds developing by midday. This afternoon, scattered showers with the chance of severe thunderstorms and local flooding. The barometer falling fast. Watch for the possibility of snow turning to freezing rain later this evening. So don't leave the house without your trusty raincoat, boots, and most of all, your Michelin all-weather tires. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
This is the Midwest Regional Final between Indiana and LSU. We're live from the Riverfront Coliseum, and LSU ahead of the Hoosiers by 2, 75-73, 301. You might keep in mind that Indiana still has 2 team fouls to give. They are also shooting the bonus. LSU outscored 9-2 in the last 3 minutes. Bernard Woodside, their key defensive player, has fouled out.
But big change in strategy now on the offense for LSU. They're going to try to spread Indiana out. They've got the 3 guards in the game, which makes them a little small. Nikita Wilson has not scored in the last 5 minutes. He hadn't even touched the ball.
Now you're up to date with all the key numbers as the guards keep it out very deep with that 2-point lead. Joe, Irvin, and now Anthony Wilson. Bringing the clock down. Brown did this against Temple. He had a larger lead at the time. Last weekend, back in the second round.
Good double team situation.
Yes, it's a jump ball. Indiana's ball. The possession arrow pointing for Indiana as Keith Smart jumps in.
That's an awful quick one. But they got themselves on the exchange in a perfect double-team situation.
Billy, I don't want to second guess. But at the 3-minute mark almost with a 2-point lead, you've got to still play basketball.
Yeah, but I think he was trying to spread them out a little bit, hoping Indiana would gamble, try to go for some steals, and then get it down into Nikita where he'd have more room to operate.
Ships it in loose. LSU comes up, and Irvin fouled by Thomas on the floor. Daryl Thomas's 3rd personal. He did not handle the ball properly on the inside.
But Brent, that might have been a good foul because LSU had at least a 2-on-1 break going the other way, and they're not in the 1-on-1 yet.
Still with 1 to give.
And that's the reason also it's tough on LSU to be talking about using the clock, because Indiana can go for some steals here, and they won't penalize themselves.
Alford picks up Irvin. Dean Garrett taking Nikita Wilson down close to the basket.
When you bring your man over, you're bringing a double-team situation.
Open court. Shot clock coming down toward 20.
Smart was looking for the double again.
Boone gets in, picked up by Smart, and the foul called on Smart, his first.
Now what Dale Brown also is getting here is he's finally going to get his team into 1-on-1. They're not a good free throw shooting team as a ball club, however.
Now Oliver Brown has to be a target for Indiana. He's hit only 3 of 11 free throws in this tournament. He's number 31. He's shooting 27%. LSU, of course, would be wise to keep the ball out of his hands here. At the 1:40 mark, LSU up by 2.
What they also got, of course, was another 45 seconds. Well, Smart is too quick. I'd keep it away from Tess Irvin.
Joe loses it. Indiana with a chance to tie or go ahead with a 3. Time in regulation. Iowa and UNLV still to come this afternoon. It was hit by LSU. Indiana's ball.
Brent, I think they should use Alford as the decoy. They can go inside right now to either Garrett. Good move by Dale Brown. He wanted to get a big man in there because the inside was wide open that last time for Thomas or Garrett.
And Vargas returns.
They can get the ball inside. LSU is so conscious of where Steve Alford is that everybody's shading his way. What Dale Brown's going to do is substitute when he gets a chance, get Urban back in the ball game, Vargas out on offense, but in defense. Here go those signals.
Got Alford down in low.
Thomas.
Coming up on Vargas. Wouldn't fall. Loose. LSU runs it down. Joe pulls it back out. Foul by Smart. And Daryl Joe comes up to shoot 1-1. 85% here in the tournament for Joe at the free throw line.
And there's where Dale Brown's strategy worked. He got his team fouled. Indiana up to that point had only had 4 team fouls, so he couldn't afford to go down to the wire and allow Bobby Knight to have fouls to give at the end.
Now it's a 3-point LSU lead.
And I talked about the recruitment of Garrett. The recruitment of Joe is about the same. He watched LSU's run in the NCAA tournament last year, gave Dale Brown a call and said, hey, I'd like to play at your school.
Garrett rebounding. Smart inside, missed the shot, runs it down, loses the ball. And a foul is called on LSU. The foul goes against LSU. Indiana shooting 1 and 1. Down by 3 here with 40 seconds.
Shot clock off the rest of the way.
It's a 2-point game again.
One of Bobby Knight's greatest ball clubs, not the one that won in '76, but the one in '75, lost by 2 to Kentucky in the regional final. Nice pressure shooting there.
Indiana will take a timeout. It's 76-75. Billy, I want to run down the options here. We've got 40 seconds to go in this game. LSU can run the shot clock out. Bobby Knight has the option of putting him at the free throw line immediately or letting some time come off. Now, tell everybody about the different options that he might have.
Well, Brent, in my opinion, you're just going to want to play tough defense, and I'll tell you why. A team that is up by 1 with the shot clock off is going to say, hey, we don't have to score any more points, so we're going to go into a complete delay here unless somebody has an absolute layup. Now, when you're doing that, it's very difficult to hold the ball for 40 seconds and not have a turnover situation. So if you're Indiana, play good aggressive defense, particularly for the first 20 seconds, and don't foul.
And next, here on CBS, the West Regional Final. UNLV, the Running Rebels, will take on the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Big Ten.
Brent, the other thing you have to be careful of if you're Dale Brown, you start talking about all the things you're going to do, except one thing goes unnoticed sometimes. Get the ball in bounds. That's where the big steals are made.
I wonder if some of my friends like Dick Vitale will say we should move the side of the Final Four if LSU gets in. Is that the home court advantage? Is that fair? Play down there?
You're the big home court guy. You ought to love it. I mean, the state of Louisiana will be waiting on.
Dale Brown tell me 61,000 screaming Cajuns.
Well, they're not there yet. This 40 seconds will seem like 100 years to these guys. I think it's been a miraculous comeback by Indiana. Garrett led the way. Nikita Wilson, he shut Nikita Wilson off on the one end of the floor and scoring on the other. You know, in another sport, we had a big upset. Iowa, trying for that 10th all-time record in wrestling, got knocked off by, of all people, Iowa State down the road. So that big number 10 will not be placed there, but quite a record for Dan Gable's club. Must have been a super event. Now, here's what I'm talking about. They're not going to guard the man taking the ball in bounds. Might not be a bad time for Dale Brown to call another timeout. You want to make sure you get this one in.
Freddie Wilson gets it across.
Joe was almost in the backcourt.
Taking the ball away from Brown, and Callaway reaching in on Irvin fouled him. That's 4 fouls on Callaway, and Irvin will come up to the free throw line. They like to put the freshman on the line with 26 seconds to go in a regional final, and LSU leading it by a point, and the rebound checks back in. Jose Vargas, and Joe will sit down.
Brent, here's one reason why I think the money should be redistributed. We're talking right now about a couple $100,000 foul shot. Is that scary?
See Jack Nicklaus putt very much.
He choked.
He missed it.
Yes, sir.
Thomas has it. Indiana can win it in regulation. They trail it by a point.
Hold the string on that one.
Thomas got Vargas in the air and was short, but Callaway pounds in the offensive rebound. Timeout, LSU. It ain't over till it's over.
In Alamance County, North Carolina, Honda lawnmowers are assembled from the wheels up. Beginning with the Honda overhead valve engine, each precision part is fitted and assembled to exacting tolerances. Then, the final critical step that determines whether a machine will meet the Honda standard. The Clara Johnson test. If Clara pulls and it starts, it's a Honda.
Ship it.
The Honda lawnmower. It's easy to start, or else.
Last Thursday night at the Silver Bullet.
Hey guys, somebody lost a little black book.
He'll be back. My Coors Light, Sal?
Pat Martin, 2 stars.
Pat Martin.
Terry Tarrant, 3 stars.
Tarrant, is that with 2 R's?
Barbara Barlow, 5 stars.
Excuse me. I lost my address book. Thanks.
Anybody got an eraser?
No slowing down with the Silver Bullet tonight.
Why would one company work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and spend billions of dollars building America's first and only 100% fiber optic long-distance network? Why? So that every fiber optic long-distance call you make will be so clear and quiet that you can actually hear a pin drop. U.S. Sprint, builders of the first and only 100% fiber optic network, clear across America.
Big moment for Indiana and Callaway.
Good pump fake, but Callaway comes up a little short, couldn't get it out of his hand. And there was Callaway getting the rebound.
Now, there was bad sealing inside by LSU. They allowed Callaway to work his way. You could see him come free on the baseline. Nobody backed him out of there.
Brent, that happens so often. The guy that scores the winning basket is a situation where he's not the man shooting. You know, it's that second shot. Going back to that game in '79, I'm thinking of right now, the play came right down to the wire. Moncrief was guarding Larry Bird in the low post, and of all things, they couldn't get it to Bird, and the game was won on actually a pass, and the guy just slapped to the basket.
So here we are, 6 seconds left. Knight in Indiana leading LSU 77-76. That's their first lead.
No, he's going to call it another time. Bobby calls
Indiana's first lead Since the half, they were up 47-46, so we'll stay right here while Knight talks it over again with the Hoosiers.
A good move by Bobby Knight, and you could tell that he had everything in mind to call that second timeout. He worked with his coaching staff, never talked to his players at all during that first timeout till the very end. He wanted to see what Dale Brown's going to set up. He puts Isle in the ball game now as a substitution for defense, and now he sets his strategy.
Well, if we're thinking Anthony Wilson with the 15 points, he's 6 of 15 from the field here this afternoon. Nikita Wilson, he has scored 20 points for LSU. And still ahead of us, Iowa against UNLV.
Brent, I think a nice play right now at this particular time is to go ahead and step a man out of bounds, pass the ball cross court so that you can get it in, get the ball in the hands of Anthony Wilson and let him take it up court as hard as he can go to the hoop. Tell your two rebounders that Anthony's going to get off something, be in position to rebound just as Callaway was there. You want, if anything, you want Anthony Wilson on that foul line. You want that senior on there at the end of the ball game and let him take it, because Indiana does not want to foul over these 6 seconds. 6 seconds is an easy amount of time to get the ball the length of the court.
Wheels continue to turn.
Go back in my head, think about a guy going the length of the court. I can think of Danny Ainge taking it the length of the court against Notre Dame in one of the great individual plays that I've seen in college basketball to win that game for BYU. Dale Brown shooting him on, still has that smile. Indiana does not pick him up in the back court, so they can get it back in a hurry.
He inserts Steve Isle, a little more size, into the Indiana lineup. Inside, Nikita Wilson at the buzzer. Indiana wins it. The Hoosiers go to the Final Four. The final shot by LSU. Joe got the ball inside to Nikita Wilson. Off the front of the iron as the buzzer sounded. And Indiana advances. Bobby Knight with an opportunity to win a third national championship. Watching the game come to a happy ending after they struggled all second half, and his star Steve Alford almost takes him to the floor. Meanwhile, a man who played Cinderella a year ago and almost did it one more time came up a couple inches short, but he made a great run. And Indiana now will play the winner of the Iowa UNLV game next Saturday. So as Indiana continues its celebration, let's send you back to our studio, Jim Nantz and James Brown. Jim?
Okay, Brent, so the Big Ten is going to the Final Four for the first time since 1981, when Indiana was there and won the national championship. The Chevy MVPs from this exciting game, Nikita Wilson for LSU and Dean Garrett for Indiana. So now 3/4 of the puzzle is complete. Providence, Syracuse, and Indiana heading to New Orleans. 4:38, final 4 minutes, 38 seconds. LSU did not score from the floor, and with about 3.5 minutes to go, Dale Brown tried to put this thing in a deep freeze when he spread the floor.
And Jimmy, I believe a lot of people are going to seize on the opportunity to criticize Dale Brown about that, because his team was playing aggressive basketball. They outquicked Indiana in a half-court offense, and who's to say that didn't really hurt his team?
All right, Indiana comes back from 12 down with 13 minutes to go to win it and head on to New Orleans. Now, of course, coming up next, we'll have the West Final for you, that matchup between Iowa of the Big Ten and UNLV. And we'll get back to some post-game interviews in just a moment.
know my way around.
There are over 6,000 Century 21 offices coast to coast in big towns, small towns, hometowns just like yours. We're the #1 home selling system in America, and that's our advantage. But being the biggest doesn't make you the best. It's being the best that makes you the biggest.
I got a feeling for my hometown.
Century 21, the hometown advantage.
Indiana has done it. Indiana winning the Midwest 77-76. Let's go back out to Cincinnati and Brent Musburger.
A great moment for Indiana basketball and Bob Knight. The Hoosiers going to the Final Four. Coach, you waited a little bit there before you went to your 5-minute offense.
Well, you and the mastermind told me before the broadcast to hold the audience, that you wanted to keep the audience, so we thought we'd delay our offense for a while.
You know, you deserved that technical in the first half.
No, I really didn't. It was
yeah,
a very...
You did.
No, I didn't, because I went out to ask a question, and at a point like this, the guy's got to say, Coach, back up. And I got a little bit excited because I didn't know whether it was a 3-second violation or a foul. The guy made no indication. I thought it was extremely poor officiating.
Now tell me about the winning tip-in by Callaway coming down the baseline.
What we did was we worked on that play a lot where we get Thomas the ball inside. He goes up and fakes and lays it on the right side of the rim against the double team. And then Callaway comes... Hey, Steve. That's a freak offense. That's a freak offense.
Your coach said there's no way we can win this game because I don't know if we can score 78 today. You only got 77. You still came away. He doesn't make very many mistakes. Maybe that's the first one he's made. You have put in with this ball club, and I know you personally, because I want to bring it up first. How many hours in your life have you spent to get to this moment? A lot. I can't count how many hours, and this is what you play for. And these 2 hours have been the most fun I've ever been into, and we're very optimistic, and it's great. It's a great feeling. Talking about a newcomer, how about what they've been great? They've been great.
Tell me about the defense on the Nikita Wilson, the last-second shot.
Oh, gee, he's a tough player, and I had a feeling he'll take a shot. My main thing was just not to foul him, just try to stay away from him.
Congratulations to Indiana. They go to New Orleans in the Final Four. Good job.
So it's the year of the Hoosiers in Indiana. The Hoosiers heading on to New Orleans. And next up, we're going to try to settle things in Seattle. Iowa and UNLV for the West Championship after this message from your local station.
United's cut fares from coast to coast. Fly for just $29 to $99 to more cities than any other airline with as little as 2 days advance purchase.
You're not just flying, you're flying friendly skies.
CBS Sports and the NCAA tournament, right to the heart of the game. Next Saturday, the Final Four. Next Sunday, the women's final. And next Monday night, CBS Sports presents the NCAA Basketball Championship. This is CBS.
Minwax makes wood beautiful.
Bring out wood's natural beauty with Wood Finish by Minwax. It penetrates deep into wood, so it's easy to get outstanding results. And when topped with our own polyurethane, Minwax protects against life's hard knocks and tough spills, letting wood's beauty show through.
Minwax makes wood beautiful.
Receive a $1.50 rebate on Minwax at White Pine Lumber.
When you're serious about grass and weed trimming, you want an Echo trimmer. Starts easy, runs strong. Especially if you're a little impatient like I am. Echo, first from the start.
Echo blowers are available at Fruit and Ashland Mower in Fresno and Lemoore Saw Mower in Lemoore.
Wallace, Whitney, Ormseth, and Rather. The spirit's growing. Just watch.
From this glorious city on Puget Sound in the Pacific Northwest, the city of Seattle. This afternoon, we fit the final piece into the puzzle of the 1987 Final Four as the Iowa Hawkeyes from the Big Ten take on the UNLV Running Rebels. The winner of this game will advance to meet Indiana in New Orleans in the semifinal game next week. They will join Syracuse, Providence, and Indiana in the Final Four. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Seattle. I'm Vern Lundquist. We think we have a matchup that promises to be every bit as exhilarating and exciting as that LSU-Indiana game you just witnessed. In UNLV, we have a team ranked #1 for most of the year, and in the Iowa Hawkeyes, a team that was ranked #1 when the Running Rebels weren't. I'm working with Billy Cunningham again today, and Bill, we've all heard about the pressure defense of Iowa. We've heard a tremendous amount about the offense of UNLV. What about their defensive team?
Well, UNLV's defense is just tenacious. And when you talk to Jerry Tarkanian about his defense, you get that big smile and that pride factor. And you know one thing, he wants to use 94 feet of this basketball court with his defense. He has all 5 players playing that tenacious defense, and they have caused their opponents over 19 turnovers per game this year.
Matter of fact, Dr. Tom Davis, the Iowa coach, said this is as quick a defensive unit, talking about UNLV, as he has ever seen in college basketball. Now, Iowa comes in averaging a lot of points per game, up in the 80s. They looked a little sluggish in their semifinal win here over Wyoming.
Yeah, Vern, they did. They just weren't as sharp as they have been. And I think there's 2 key people that have to do the job for this ball club today. I think it's Roy Marple. He did not play well offensively against Oklahoma, and they're going to need him today. And they're going to need the leadership from Brad Lohaus.
So it's Iowa against UNLV, and the winner goes to New Orleans. They have a long way to travel from Seattle down to the Gulf Coast.
CBS Sports presents the NCAA Basketball Championship. Today's regional final game from Seattle is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. GMAC, the official sponsor of America's dreams. And by McDonald's, it's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
We're making breakfast by the hand. You can take it by the hand. Snap to it, start to You can shake it, you can roll it, you can pop it, you can scold it when it's made McDonald's way. Big muffins hot and fresh. Biscuits at their best. Hot delicious kinds. It's the sign of the times. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Breakfast by the hand. By the hand.
When trouble finds you,
turn to a friend.
I think I'm running on 3 cylinders.
Well, let's see. When trouble finds you, turn to a Unical 76 Protect technician. Only Protect technicians are trained and tested every 2 years.
So, where'd you learn about cylinders?
Caltech, class of 82. You?
Protec, class of 82, 84, 86.
when trouble finds you,
turn to a friend.
discover a new species. Chevrolet Beretta.
The heartbeat of America.
Beretta.
That's today's Chevrolet.
The Iowa Hawkeyes come in with a 30-4 season record. They defeated Santa Clara, UTEP, and Oklahoma to get to this spot. And the Runnin' Rebels are 36-1. They defeated Idaho State, Kansas State, and Wyoming. Now, let's go to our public address announcer, Rod Belcher, to meet the starting lineups.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kingdome for this afternoon's West Regional Final between the University of Iowa Hawkeyes and the Runnin' Rebels of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Now, let's meet the starting lineups. For Iowa at forward, a 7-foot senior from Glendale, Arizona, number 54, Brad Lohaus. For UNLV at forward, a 6'7" junior from Rayne, Louisiana, number 23, Gerald Patio. For Iowa at forward, a 6'5" sophomore from Flint, Michigan, number 23, Roy Marble. For UNLV at forward, a 6'9" senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 35, Armin Gilliam. For Iowa at center, a 6'7" senior from San Bernardino, California, number 3, Gary Wright. For UNLV at center, a 6'8" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 44, Jarvis Bassnight. For Iowa at guard, a 6'2" sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, number 10, B.J. Armstrong. For UNLV at guard, a 6-foot senior from San Pedro, California, number 10, Mark Wade. For Iowa at guard, a 6'5" senior from Springfield, Illinois, number 35, Kevin Gamble. And for UNLV at guard, a 6'2" senior from Las Vegas, Nevada, number 13, Freddie Banks. And introducing the head coaches for Iowa in his first season, Dr. Tom Davis. For UNLV in his 14th season, Jerry Tarkanian.
Last to the quartet, about to be determined, the Final Four, which will head from New Orleans in a week. We'll be back in Seattle in just a moment.
The winds of change are blowing at today's Chevrolet. Smoothest Chevrolet sedan ever built.
The heartbeat of America.
Corsica.
That's today's Chevrolet.
When you want the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer, ask for Miller Genuine Draft, the Miller with the green label.
Green?
Just kidding, guys. Ask for Miller Genuine Draft, the Miller with the black label.
That's not funny.
Someone dented the door of my 4x4. Leave it to the good hands, people.
Allstate makes an accident a little easier to take by offering a repair guarantee.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Crowd of better than 25,000 expected here in the Kingdome in Seattle this afternoon. The officiating crew, Joey Sylvester of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, the referee, Don Rutledge of Windermere, Florida, and Louis Grillo of Washington, D.C. The umpires and the official, or the alternate rather, Willis McJunkin of Spokane. The only time the two teams met was back in '78. It was an 85-84 game. UNLV goes right to left, and the Iowa Hawkeyes in the opposite direction. Joey Sylvester getting ready to tip it up. The winner of this one plays Indiana next Saturday in New Orleans, as the Hoosiers came from behind to nip LSU by 1. Running Rebels ball. Freddie Banks quickly takes the jumper. Too long. Rebound. Banks gets it. And Mark Wade, who set a single-season NCAA record with assists, he now has 376. And the rebound on the line. Banks, and in the Iowa's ball. And quickly that pressure defense of UNLV, Bill.
That's right. We see Mark Wade right away picking up B.J. Armstrong. There's a screen. Got to talk on those screens.
Gary Wright hit the screen. This is Lohaus, a 7-footer, who likes to play on occasion from the perimeter. He's guarded by Basnight. They get Basnight out away from the basket.
But when you play against this type of pressure, you have to have good patience and look for backdoor situations.
Nice pass by Marble underneath, and Gary Wright gets the first basket of the game.
Now we see the trap. No, it's just showing the trap at this point.
Mark Wade, baseball pass, the first turnover of the game. Gary Wright returns the honor. Looks like Johnny Bench throwing to second. Armstrong lays it off to Marble, off the glass short. Lohaus with the follow.
Well, Tom Davis was very concerned about his team coming out and being a little nervous in this basketball game, but we don't see that right off the bat.
We have mentioned the two men you mentioned at the outset, Lohaus and Marble. And they've got the first two baskets as Iowa takes a 4-0 edge. Wade left side. Freddie Banks for three. Got it.
Due to operating difficulties, there has been an interruption to the sound. We shall continue with the picture portion until this difficulty is cleared.
Not because of the personality conflict, he just didn't adapt to Raveling style, and then he is awesome his senior season.
That's one way you beat this zone trap. Boy, they got it in and up the court as quickly as anyone can get it up. You know, I bet you Coach Tarkanian in that locker room told his players to go at this very positively, and I would think he'd tell them is, hey, they're just playing right into our hands. If we just get it over the top, we're going to be out in our running game, just as we saw here.
You see any early signs of nerves yet, Bill?
No, not yet.
Traveling call.
Now watch how quickly UNLV gets that ball inbounds. Basnight gets it in. Bang, bang. Great passing.
Now Gamble gets back as Mark Wade brings it across the timeline. 6-5 Iowa, 17:40 to go first half. Follow shot, Jarvis Basnight.
Well, you have to be concerned about Basnight getting to the offensive boards and out in transition. Right off the bat, though, we see they're not playing Mark Wade, who does not look for his shots.
Wright with a nice pass underneath, and a good, strong move by Lohaus. 8-7, the inbounds pass again. Basnight will bring it in, and we'll watch that in this pressure defense supplied by Iowa because it might be a factor. He sometimes has problems. Underneath the lob pass, Gilliam misfires, and Kevin Gamble's on the run now. Hawkeyes bring it up. B.J. Armstrong, that's for two.
Well, after that shot he hit in the last ball game against Wyoming, he's got to feel awfully confident. Excuse me, Oklahoma.
There's the steal by Iowa. Gamble gets it. Two more. And it's a 12-7 Iowa lead. Understand we're having some audio problems. We're working on that. Hope to get them corrected shortly. 16:33 to go in the first half. A 12-7 Iowa lead. Reach-in foul. Gamble gets caught.
Hawkeye foul charge to 35.
Now, Gamble's been the big playmaker of this ball club all year. We see this steal and pulling up for that little jump shot.
It was Gamble, the hero of the win over Oklahoma, as we said, with a three-pointer, 2 seconds left in overtime. From three. Patio doesn't get it. Foul underneath. Sends Tarkanian into agony.
Well, Gerald Patio has really been struggling from the field. In the last ball game, he was 2 for 9 and 1 for 7 from that three-point area. And Coach Tarkanian is very concerned. And if he doesn't hit a shot or two, I wouldn't be surprised to see Gary Graham get in this ball game.
Armstrong guarded by Mark Wade.
Armstrong's doing an excellent job so far against that pressure, getting his team into their set offense.
Basnight goes for the steal. Lowhouse controls for Iowa, and Wright takes the jumper, gets it. 14-7.
Well, that's something Wright's not known for. You expect him to be looking, driving to the hoop, and getting to the offensive boards.
Hawkeyes are 6 of 8 from the field.
Well, we see Gamble is just backing off into the lane area, ready to give the help inside on Gilliam.
There's the lob to Gilliam. He gets the second effort to put back.
UNLV field goal by 35. Armand Gilliam.
Brad Lowhouse, here's an injury timeout. We'll look at Iowa underneath.
Now, here's that pass inside. You see Kevin Gamble looking to come back and help it. Not quick enough.
2 changes for Iowa. Entering.
Ed Horton comes into the lineup. Now, Lowhouse had his eye scratched when he was elbowed by a teammate on Wednesday and had 10 stitches in his right eye. I don't know if that's the problem or if it's the left eye this time. But Ed Horton has taken his spot.
Well, that'll be a big loss for this ball club if he's not able to get back into the game.
Al Lorenzen also in for the Hawkeyes. B.J. Armstrong gets 2 more. 16-9.
Now, that's a great strength of Armstrong, being able to push the ball the length of the court.
Freddie Banks, too strong. Big rebound. Roy Marble, the sophomore, out of Flint, Michigan. Hawkeyes are 7 of 9 from the field, Bill.
Well, so far, they've been able to get into their set offense very easily. Their trapping defense has been effective for them. They're playing their kind of game.
They caught Marble throwing an elbow. That's
okay. Now, what we've seen now, the only negative thing is Roy Marble is trying to force things now offensively twice. Last time he committed a turnover, and now he's called for a charging foul.
Another substitution now. Fiery Jeff Moe is into the lineup, and Gamble is out, and number 11, Michael Reeves, comes in. Very comparable to John Thompson at Georgetown, Dean Smith at North Carolina, how Dr. Tom Davis uses his bench.
Oh, yeah,
all through the game.
He wants to wear you out. Now we see where Jeff Moe is playing defensively.
Patio misses his first 2 3-pointers. Wade comes over, controls for UNLV. That's not what Tarkanian wanted. He was hoping for a quick start from Patio. That's 0 for 3 for Patio. 0 for 4. And that's got to concern Tarkanian.
You've got to concern him, and Patio is just struggling so much it almost becomes a mental block with you. You try to force things. You don't finish your shot. And once a player starts thinking, it's disaster.
Michael Reeves on a great feed, and Iowa has doubled the score. In the backcourt, Al Lorenzen draws the foul.
Well, this Iowa team, which was very sluggish, I thought, in their last game against Oklahoma, at the offensive end of the court, are moving the basketball. What a great pass.
Timeout. 14:26 to go first half. Hawkeyes with a big start.
It doesn't matter where.
I looked up and there was no more ceiling, no more roof.
It doesn't matter when.
We didn't know where to turn.
The All-State Catastrophe Team stands ready. A team of experts around the country ready to converge on any disaster.
My All-State adjuster was here on the spot.
Our adjuster would say, I'll take care of it. And he did.
A lot of the neighbors I talked to haven't even heard from their insurance companies yet. And All-State was right here to help.
The All-State adjuster showed me that he had the experience and the know-how and compassion for a person that really needs it.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
You are in good hands.
You're in good hands.
You're in good hands.
With All-State.
That's for sure.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
When you want the rich, smooth, fresh taste of real draft beer in a can, ask for Miller Genuine Draft. The Miller with the black label. It's beer at its best.
Discover a new species. Chevrolet Beretta.
It's a competition between the PGA's best on a course that demands their best. Join me for the Tournament Players Championship next weekend on CBS Sports.
If you think Tom Davis is concerned about Armand Gilliam, you see right here in the picture, he'll end up with 4 players surrounding him on the inside of that play. What they're doing defensively is they're saying, well, Wade, Patio, prove it to us. Can you hit that outside shot? And so far, they have not been able to do that.
Look at Mo and Marble back. Now we're back to live action. And the rebounding edge is huge for Iowa so far, 13-6.
I would think that Coach Tarkanian might end up putting Mark Wade on a different location on the court and not at the top of the key. He is now on the wing, so they might be able to get into something offensively.
There's Wade. Gets it, and that's a three-pointer.
That's a big shot. Well, one of the reasons you don't play Mark Wade with much pressure is last year, the whole season as a starting guard, he only shot the ball 67 times.
That's in 38 games. The other night he was 1 for 2, and it's important for him to get off to a start because they'll give him that shot all day.
You know, not many coaches, when you get to a timeout, have to tell a player you got to shoot the basketball.
5-second violation. Lorenzen and Wade. And that's a turnover. Third Iowa turnover of the first half. 13:45 to go before halftime. Foul. Jeff Lowe.
Now, watch this switch on the baseline defensively. They switch, and how do you switch? You have to communicate, talk to each other, and make sure that if you don't talk on the defensive end on that court, you end up with 2 players, in most cases, playing 1 player and someone wide open for a shot.
Mark Wade at the free throw line into the corner for Freddie Banks for 3. That's short. Banks gets his own rebound. Up. No foul. No call. Gilliam gets the basket.
No, I don't think they're going to allow the basket, Burns. But I don't know if it looked like he was getting fouled while he was in the motion going to the basket.
Foul on the play by 20.
Let's take a look. Now we see the drive by Banks to the hole. Ooh, that hurt. And now Gilliam just comes in. The hammer takes it and powers it up to the basket. He did get fouled, though. Mo got him before he left the floor.
That's the 5th Iowa team foul.
And 2 fouls on Jeff Mo.
And getting close to the bonus. Now the inbound pressure applied. And Ed Horton almost took it away from Gilliam.
The hammer just took it away from him.
18-16. Rebels on a run. They've scored 7 unanswered points. Now Armstrong joined by Lorenzen. B.J. Armstrong back in.
Both teams are streak ball clubs. We saw in the last game when Iowa played Oklahoma, they had a string of 19 unanswered basketball points. And then we saw in UNLV had that time a type of streak against Wyoming in the second half.
Oh, excellent pass from Lorenzen. And a shooting foul.
In for UNLV.
Now, I want to ask you a question, Bert, on this play.
All right.
How would you like to arm wrestle this gentleman right here? Arm in the hammer. Boom!
I was charged to...
Motto there is stay away from Petaluma.
23 Patio. First personal. Third foul.
Gilliam got the foul, and Kevin Gamble will be at the line.
Shooter with 2:35.
Gamble, a senior from Springfield, Illinois.
You know, when a team traps and a team has no success against it, it's the snowball effect. You start thinking, you become tentative when you're looking to attack it. You're afraid to make a mistake. And when that happens, a team like Iowa really can get you. But it also is the same thing with a team like UNLV because of their great man-to-man defensive pressure.
No problem with the pressure defense this time as Wade gets it across.
Well, the theory of Tom Davis with his trap is 1 pass and done. When you make, after that first pass is made by the team attacking the trap, they'll just back off, go to their 1-2-2 zone trap, zone, or they'll go to their man-to-man.
Gilliam with the turnaround. He's got 6 points. Gary Graham has also come in now for UNLV. He's in the backcourt following B.J. Armstrong. And Armstrong pushes it up the floor. Watch the pressure on the guards here.
Foul charged to 32 Gary Graham of the...
Yeah, and you got to remember, Basnight is the center, and he's up there putting that type of pressure on.
Timeout has been called by Jerry Tarkanian's running Rebels. They trail by 2.
When the temperature drops below 30, remember the spark plug that's tested to start below 0. Champion, we go to ridiculous extremes to test the reliability of our spark plugs.
I own a PC and a VCR, a condo on the beach, and my own company. But I don't own a car. I lease with GMAC. For me, leasing was smarter than buying. It's just good money management. And since I worked out the terms with my GM dealer, I can pay less each month. It was easy. Now I've got the new car I want, and leasing frees up my money for other things.
GMAC Leasing, only at your GM dealer. For you, it just might be smarter than buying.
Why do 32 million Americans protect their engines with Quaker State motor oil? Because they're car-caring people who want only the best for their engines. Here, Quaker State quality stands up to the constant pounding, heat, and friction that breaks down motor oil. You can see Quaker State quality, the pure protection that comes from our state-of-the-art formula that can't be beat.
Quaker State people, reaching for the best.
Take a look at what UNLV has accomplished in postseason play. The margin of difference, 35, 34, a couple of 25s, 19 and 14. They haven't been tested. As a matter of fact, the last time they won by less than 10 was on February 7th of this year when they defeated San Jose State 83-74. Now, while we were away, there was this discussion that took place at the scoring table. There was a UNLV basket which was inadvertently given. So here is the correct score, not 20-18, but 20-16. I knew we'd have a lot of points, but somebody tossed in a couple of extra on us. So the correct score now, and it was that discussion which righted it during the timeout. It's 20-16, Iowa leads.
Well, we see a little trapping defense right here by the Rebels going to a half-court trap.
Back it goes to Kevin Gamble. Iowa has Gamble, Armstrong, Lohaus, Wright, and Marble on the floor. Marble has not scored yet.
Well, it's good to see there was nothing serious with Brad Lohaus.
Got his eye check, got him back in, turnover. That's the 4th Iowa turnover.
That's a great move by Jerry Tarkanian. He comes out of a timeout, and they're preparing, Tom Davis is preparing his team for a man-to-man, and they go to that trap.
Saw an example of the outstanding rebounding strength of Iowa with that Roy Marble grab, and underneath, Marble the recipient of a heck of a blow and a foul called. That's Eldridge Hudson, who is in the game now, arguing the call, but there'd be no argument.
All he did was grab him and try to throw him to the floor. Now watch this. He's just grabbing Marble, trying to throw him to the floor. No foul. Not at all.
Reverse layup. Roy Marble.
What a play. It didn't appear that he even had any vision of the basket when he went up for that shot.
Just a sophomore out of Flint, Michigan. Marble has been averaging 15 points per game this year.
That was over the rim.
I thought it was. Tarkanian thought it was, and Lohaus gets credit for the basket.
That was over the cylinder, Vern.
The tip, Basnight controls for UNLV. Mark Wade. Now Iowa's going to a zone. And the three-point basket again, this time from Gary Graham, number 32. This is a UNLV team which for the year, coming into today's game, had shot three-pointers 716 times. 716. Right. Rebound, Marble. Give you a little perspective, the Notre Dame team that Bill and I saw last week had 100 efforts for the season.
Well, we see they're hurting so far the Rebels on the offensive boards. Cannot allow that to happen in a game like this.
Not a good rebounding UNLV team. Maybe their biggest weakness.
That was a strong move to the middle by Gamble.
26-19, 10-25. Winner of this game meets Indiana next Saturday on CBS in the Final Four. And Providence plays Syracuse and the other two members of the quartet. There's another three-pointer. Armin Gilliam. He's got 8. He had 38 and 13 rebounds in the win over Wyoming Friday night. Gamble. Foul on Graham.
Good call. Graham ends up pushing off inside. Now watch this strong move to the basket. No help for Gilliam on that power move.
And for Iowa, number 20.
Now watch Lowhouse. This is something this team practices. Going baseline, and he beats his man to the baseline, is able to tip in that missed shot.
7 on the team.
Roy Marble goes to the line.
UNLV over the limit, shooting 1-1 on common.
Largest lead of the game has been 9 by Iowa at 18-9.
So far, the running Rebels have not been reacting and responding to each other as well as Jerry Tarkanian would like to see them defensively. They're not in sync. We saw in that replay when Gamble took it strong to the basket, someone has got to come back and give that defensive help. They're not reacting well at this point.
Last foul was on Gary Wright, his first. 16 fouls on Iowa, 7 on UNLV, so we'll shoot bonus free throws from now on through the half.
David Willard's in there in the middle.
3 points. Scramble, and Wade comes up for it. David Willard, number 40 for UNLV.
It appears UNLV's approach to this game is you shoot the ball, and Armin, you go get it.
He just did.
He has that ability. He's so big and wide. When he gets in there, he makes that space for himself.
Gilliam, excuse me, Bill.
But he gets to the offensive boards before the shot is taken.
How about the bounce pass from Gary Wright? How about the bounce pass?
Well, the bounce pass, but I would be very upset if I'm Jerry Tarkanian. Number one, he wants to look to overplay defensively. Then we'll see that. There was an overplay. He just lost his man. Lack of communication there with David Willard. And he goes for the basket, but you see no one reacted to each other defensively there. And for Jerry Tarkanian's team to be effective in the half-court basis with their man-to-man defense, they have to respond to each other.
Rebound, David Willard. UNLV with a chance to cut the lead to 3 or 2. Freddie Banks.
Number 13.
Banks has 5. Moe controls it. Nice blind pass to Gary Wright. Didn't get it to fall. Alan Willard.
Gary Wright has a bad habit, taking that ball with one hand. When you're in the position he was on the baseline, right near the basket, you want to take it with 2 hands and power it to the basket. Looking to draw the foul, number 1, but a chance to get that 3-point play. When you go up with the one hand, your chances are very slim.
And Wright doesn't want to be at the free throw line. He's hitting only 50% for the year. Gilliam with 10. Lowhouse has 8 so far. 28-25, 8:59 to go first half. 1 of 2. That's his season average. Now Lowhouse guarding Willard, who's inbounding the ball. He gets it over the top. And Wade forces the ball in the corner. Graham, good. That's 2.
I'll tell you, Coach Tarkanian talked about how he hadn't seen a trap in several years. Well, they saw one last year against Stanford when Tom Davis was coaching Stanford and they had problems. But when you hit a couple of shots like that, that really gets the adrenaline flowing. The players can't wait to see a trap.
Michael Reeves takes it to the free throw line. Blocking foul. Oh, no. They're going to say offensive foul.
Now that's the way Jerry Tarkanian wants his team to play defensively. One man was beaten defensively, but there was someone coming over to give that help and drawing the charge.
Dr. Tom Davis didn't like the call. And now UNLV with a chance to lead for the first time or tie it up. Wade passes on the shot in the corner. Good. Three-pointer.
Well, Gary Graham better get a piece of chalk and make an X over there because he's hit 2 from the same spot.
30-29, UNLV back on top. Having overcome a 9-point deficit. Marble hit by Wade, knocked out of bounds. UNLV ball.
Well, we see that first 3-pointer by Gary Graham has ignited this team not only offensively but defensively. Stepped on the line. Jeff Moe stepped on the line after making the steal.
Number 35, Gamble, replacing Marble.
Already in this game, UNLV has equaled the number of 3-pointers they had Friday night. They've made 4.
Now watch what they're looking to do. They like to get the ball into Gilliam, and then he's looking to swing it directly without putting it on the floor right to Mark Wade. Now, what happened was David Willard, after a violation, cannot take a step. He has to, just like on the court, in play, you have a pivot foot. You can fake or do something. You cannot move both feet.
That's the third UNLV turnover. 29-30, and another foul. This one on David Willard, number 40.
Well, he's coming out right now.
Basnight will come back in. Jarvis Basnight.
You know, the problem with a game like this, coaching, is you can't wait. Too many mistakes. You got to get somebody in there because today is the biggest game for these teams. You know, whoever wins this game, they've had a phenomenal year. Both teams will have a great year just getting to the final 16. But this is it, to get that chance to go to New Orleans.
Well, one doesn't want to put a monetary tag on it either, but it's worth $1 million to the athletic program of the school. Ooh. And in these economic hard times, that is beneficial, I'll promise you. Lowhouse has tied it up.
You know, Jerry Tarkanian told the press yesterday, he said, they asked him if he was going to New Orleans. He said, yeah, I'm going to New Orleans, but I just hope the team comes with me.
Freddie Banks underneath with Gary Wright, and Wright picks up the foul. That's his second. Despite all the fouls, we have no one with 3 so far.
Number 3, Gary Wright.
Bakers doesn't have 2. We're live at the Kingdome in Seattle, where just about what we expected has taken place. Run and gun offense. 31-30 the score right now.
So far this game has been like a prize fight. You know, one team hits the other one, goes for a little spurt, bang, here comes the other team coming out in the second round and doing the same thing. No team has been able to get a hold and control the tempo of this game.
Freddie Banks back at the line to shoot the second free throw of the game for UNLV. They are not a bad free throw shooting team, 71% overall. And he gets 1 out of 2. Tied once again just under the 8-minute mark. Vern Lundquist, Bill Cunningham here from the Kingdome in Seattle. Michael Reeves across the timeline. All the way in, up and over. Oh, he had to really time that shot as Gilliam was there, and now Reeves gets the turnover. Gamble over Basnight and is fouled.
Just a strong move inside by Gamble. Kevin Gamble going strong to the middle for that shot. Now the big difference is we have seen Iowa make an adjustment defensively, and that is we see them denying the ball inside to Armin Gilliam and then trying to throw it over the top, and they're picking up the steals. Now watch Reeves penetrate all the way to the basket. Nice move.
Kevin Gamble at the line trying to make it a 3-point play and a 5-point Iowa lead, which he's done. 7:41 to go first half, 36-31. Well, this is a Rebel team that's averaged 93 points per game and an Iowa team that's averaged 87, so our chances of seeing 200 are excellent. Underneath, turnover again. That's the 5th UNLV turnover. Bounce pass. What a dandy. Offensive foul. Did the basket count? No. How's that for taking a charge for Freddie Banks?
You got to be a man in there. This is the type of game you have to do anything necessary to help your team win. You know, that is such a difficult call for an official. You know, we were sitting right here, Vern, and had a great angle. I couldn't tell if the ball was released before the contact or after.
Mark Wade, Freddie Banks along the baseline. He sneaks his way in. Marble is fouled as he gets the rebound by Jarvis Basnight. That's the first player with 3 fouls. And Tark wants to talk to Mark Wade.
Nevada, Las Vegas.
mentioned about we very easily could see a high-scoring game. UNLV this year has scored over 100 points 12 times, and Iowa has done the same thing 6 times this year.
For UNLV, 33, Eldridge Hudson.
Baz Knight out. Eldridge Hudson, number 33. He of the knee problems for UNLV is in the lineup. Had such a promising, or was such a promising player when he came to UNLV. High school legend in Southern California, but has had knee problems throughout. Free throw, no good. You know he's not going to waste time with that. Shot is up by Freddie Banks. No, Gary Graham, and here comes Iowa. Reeves back to Lohaus for 3. Wade, it's a 2-on-3. Oh, if you've got respiratory problems and can't breathe, this is not the place to be. Oh, boy. Graham, that's for 2. Marble for Iowa, 36-31, 6:38 to go in the first half.
Now, you would have to think this is favoring Iowa, this up-and-down pace, this quick, because they do use 10 players. They had 10 players averaging in double figures minutes played this year.
Reach-in foul, Mark Wade.
UNLV foul.
You know, Mark Wade looking for the steal, but you got to play defense with your feet. You know, there's Lohaus, 7 foot, out on the court. Mark Wade, look, what, 6 feet tall? At least he's listed at 6 feet tall. Reaching in, picking up a cheap foul. He's got to be aware of the situation. That is that they're in a penalty situation. Don't give up something easy.
That's too strong. And the rebound brought down by Hudson of the Running Rebels, 36-31. Hasn't been a good free throw shooting first half for Iowa. Underneath, Armstrong dives for it. It went off Freddie Banks. It'll be Iowa's ball.
Right now, the Running Rebels are forcing things that are not there offensively, and this Iowa team is reacting so well to the ball.
Al Lorenzen, number 44, back in the lineup for the Hawkeyes.
23, Gerald Patio.
And Gerald Patio comes back in for UNLV. B.J. Armstrong, guarded by Mark Wade. Gary Wright.
Perfectly executed.
I thought for a moment that's the worst shot I'd ever seen.
On the weak side, they set that back screen. Hudson did not help, and there was the easy dunk.
UNLV is now 5 of 11 from three-point range. Whistle, another foul. Watch the alley-oop again.
Now, the alley-oop, Hudson's man sets the screen, no help, and there's the lob. Perfect play. There's an athlete there, too, to go up and get the basketball the way Marble did. Those are some of the things you look to do against a team that applies a lot of pressure. You have to look for the back doors, the lobs, things of that like that. What that eventually will do, if you have success, it loosens up the defense, and now you're able to run the things you'd like to run at the offensive end of the court.
Armstrong at the line gets the first of the 1-and-1. Brad Lohaus getting a rest again as Dr. Tom Davis has pulled him and put Lorenzen in the game. Armstrong now 1 out of 2. Given name is Benjamin. And we've equaled the largest lead in the first half. It's 40-31, 5:40 to go in the half. Mark Wade gives it off to Freddie Banks and the Las Vegas senior. Too strong, air ball.
Too strong and a bad shot, too.
Armstrong.
There's one thing taking a good, quick shot. It's another thing when you take a quick, bad shot.
That's the coaching you coming out.
But, you know, it's something, Jerry Tarkanian loves this fast pace, but he'll also let them know that that was a bad shot.
For 3, Freddie Banks. Over the top, Hudson gets the foul for UNLV. That's his 3rd in the first half. So Baz Knight and Hudson both with 3, and there's the towel. It finally came out. We're going to give you a look at halftime at the ritual which surrounds the towel. And a man who plays an important role for UNLV, who hasn't gotten a lot of publicity, named Paul Biafor. That's coming up.
Paul Biafor.
You'll hear about it. 40-31, 5:09 to go.
Give me a hint.
He played about as much basketball as I did.
Ooh. Did he get cut in the 10th grade,
That's
too?
the same deal. That's the thing Michael Jordan and I have in common, you know.
That's it.
That's exactly. Iowa's on an 11-0 run. Mark Wade. Patio gets his first basket of the day. 42-33 after the 5-minute mark. Chris Moe for three. Moe is averaging 11.5 points off the bench. Gets his first three of the day. Freddie Banks for three. Well, why not? Try the triple again. And Iowa gets the bounce. UNLV has already attempted 13 three-point shots. They've hit 5. Timeout.
The winds of change are blowing at today's Chevrolet. Put yourself in today's Chevrolet Corsica and feel the winds of change.
The heartbeat of America.
Corsica.
That's today's Chevrolet.
They wait, they stalk, and they shake the desert sands, all teamed together to do one thing: win. Bill Elliott and his Coors-smelling Thunderbird, Tom the Mongoose McEwen and his Coors funny car, and Ivan the Iron Man Stewart's Coors off-road champion. When the smoke clears, Coors is the one.
Light fighters, the new light infantry. No matter where you are, in the jungle, the Arctic, the desert, or the mountains, you run out of day before you run out of challenge.
You know, all this talk about building your confidence might sound like a lot of hype. Let me tell you, hype doesn't get you to the top of this rock.
Be all that you can be.
Hey, Gal. What? The elevator's here.
Find your future in the Army.
Tonight on CBS, Cheryl Ladd, saving others, destroying herself. Deadly Care, based on a true story.
Chip Nance back in New York saying we'll see you back here at halftime with a recap of Indiana's one-point win over LSU in the Midwest Final. Plus, we'll take you to Las Vegas for a revealing look at a school that we actually know very little about. Right now, let's go back to Seattle. Vernon Billy.
All right, Jim, we've got 4:36 to go in the first half. We expected a high-scoring game. We have not been disappointed. 45-33. And the tempo, to say the least, has been quick.
This is the quickest game I think I've ever seen in my life.
What that means is every time they've had the ball, 31 times for Iowa, they've shot it before 15 seconds elapsed, and 38 times for UNLV. Now, you're saying quickest game ever?
I can't imagine a game being any quicker. You know, it does take 4 seconds to get from one end of the court to the other.
For some of you.
Uh-oh, they're freezing the ball. The clock's down to 25 seconds.
I knew you were going to mention the clock before the day was out at least once. Bounce pass underneath the Dr. Tom Davis specialty. That one bounce pass in the entry level. And David Ed Horton gets the basket. 47-33, a 14-point UNLV lead. Deficits don't bother the running Rebels side. Iowa lead, I'm sorry. Rebels were down by 22 earlier in the year against Western Kentucky and came back to win the NIT preseason tournament.
They were down 19 to New Mexico State and were able to come back at halftime. But there's one other stat. You have to remember, Iowa is undefeated and we were leading at halftime.
Lorenzen tries for the rebound. Marble gets it for Iowa. 47-33. B.J. Armstrong lays it off for Wright. Whoa, how unselfish.
Oh, just a beautiful play by B.J. Armstrong. He knew where that man was all the time, and when he went up, left the floor, he knew what he was going to do with the ball. Another steal.
Moe in the corner.
Yes!
Horton to score.
Now you see it, now you don't.
Watch the basket prior to that one in the pass from B.J. Armstrong.
Look at Holton on your right, getting out on the break. B.J. Armstrong knew where he was all the time, and a nice play.
Horton got the basket. UNLV has called timeout. They've got 2 left. And they trail 51-33. Turnovers now, Iowa 8, UNLV 6.
But Iowa's converted 14 points out of those 8 turnovers. That's the big stat. Now the thing is, Jerry Tarkanian did not want to call a timeout now with 3 minutes to play, but he was forced to. He's got to regroup his team. Make sure that they don't lose their confidence at this point, because when you're down 18 points with 3 minutes to play, you've got to stop the bleeding at some point. They would like to go, Coach Tarkanian, get his team in there, 15 and under. He surely has the confidence that his ball club can come back and win.
Already in the game, UNLV 4 of 15. They've put it up 15 times. They will not stop. Look at the graphic from Friday night when they put up 23 three-pointers and hit only 4. And I guess it's just the nature of the beast, so to speak. That has been their reason for success all year, and they probably won't come out of that, Bill.
Oh, they won't change their style, but he's just got to make sure that they handle the basketball a little better as a team. They're throwing the ball around like it's a hot potato from one side of the court to the other, trying to force things that aren't there. Now, the thing is, they've shot 41% from the three-point area all season long, so they won't change in that regard, but they just have to get a little more under control with the basketball.
Dr. Tom Davis of Iowa is in his first year, having replaced George Raveling. Raveling, of course, went to USC, and Dr. Tom came from Stanford. He is trying to become only the second coach that we know of to lead a team to the Final Four in his first year at a school. Larry Brown did it his first year at UCLA in 1980, and Ed Jucker did it in Cincinnati in 1961. They went all the way and won it all. So that is what Dr. Tom Davis is trying to accomplish this afternoon.
Well, Ed Horton almost missed the floor on that foul shot.
3:09 to go first half. Let's check the lineups. Jeff Lowe is in there, number 20, with Marble, Lowhouse, Michael Reeves, and Horton for Iowa. Freddie Banks, short. That's the 16th three-pointer. Armin Gilliam, and he gets 2 and calms things down.
You know, at some point they have to look a little more inside to Armin Gilliam, because the only way he's getting the basketball at the offensive end of the court is on the offensive glass.
And Horton, 2 more. Horton's a man who started the first 24 games of the year, then gave way to Gary Wright. Traveling call. And that's the 7th UNLV turnover.
Well, that's what we're talking about, forcing something that's not there. It's fine. You know, even that point, Gary Graham, if he pulled up for the three-point shot, it would have been a good shot. But trying to power it inside, 1 against 2, no chance.
Lowhouse. Whoops.
That was a bullet he threw over. It's a good thing that Gamble didn't get a hand on it.
Broken finger. 53-35. Mark Wade.
Now there was a case where Graham was looking for that three-point shot. He should have just pulled up and shot the two-pointer.
Moe goes out to get the rebound, and there was a foul on the long rebound.
UNLV foul.
Gary Graham is the 3rd player for the Runnin' Rebels to pick up his 3rd foul. I am amazed by what we've seen the last 10 minutes.
You know what? Well, right there you see the field goal percentage. And they've had, for the most part, Iowa has just shot very good shots. They've moved the ball well. They've won turnovers. They've gotten the easy baskets. But I am surprised to see the score what it is. You know, I'm not surprised that there's 53 points on the board by Iowa. I'm just surprised that we haven't seen UNLV more effective offensively.
Jeff Lowe gets the bounce in the first free throw. 20 of 26 to the field, from the field for Iowa. Horton with a rebound, goes up for 2 more, good block. Richard Robinson is gone. Nice pass by Banks. And Patio gets the layup. Richard Robinson has come in now for UNLV. So the Run Rebels have Wade, Robinson, Banks, Gilliam, and Patio. 17-point margin, 54-37 with 1:38 to go at halftime.
Good patience by Iowa at the offensive end.
Back in for Iowa, number 10, BJ.
Now here's that long outlet pass by Wade over to Banks. Outstanding offensive play there, making that bounce pass. That is so tough to bounce a pass that far across the court and have a player be able to get control of it.
B.J. Armstrong back into the lineup now for Iowa. And Armin Gilliam goes to the line. Senior out of Pittsburgh, transfer from Independence Junior College.
Now what UNLV would like to have happen now is a couple more good things happen to them. They have 1:36 left in this half. Now if they can make a steal, or they can stop Iowa at the other end of the court, maybe get a basket, get it down to 13 or 14 points, that will be something positive going into the locker room.
1:27 to go. There's the lob again for Marble and Lohaus. Guilty of the foul underneath.
But this time, we see the excellent help defensively by Robinson. His man comes up and sets the screen, Lohaus, but he reads it. He knows his teammates picked off, and he's back in there deflecting that pass.
Lohaus picks up his first foul, and Patio will go to the line. Gerald Patio in his first year at UNLV from Rayne, Louisiana. Played his junior college ball at Seminole JC.
Let's see if they pick him up full court, put some pressure on them. Can't pick up the silly foul if you're UNLV.
54-40. 18-point lead has been cut by 4. Jeff Lowe.
Half-court trap. Looking to keep the ball out of the middle area. They had success earlier when they ran this one time and created a turnover.
Lowe gets out of the trap.
Boy, they look poised out here, don't they, Iowa?
Sure do.
Good patience, this trap, they're not afraid of it. They know what they have to do.
Lowe in the corner for Lohaus. 18 on the shot clock, 52nd on the game clock. Underneath to right. What a bounce.
The thing that impressed me was the patience.
Yep.
You know, they spread the court, they moved the basketball, they knew what they wanted to do when the clock got down to 15 seconds, looked for a good shot, and that's what they got.
Largest lead of the half has been 18. It's at 16 right now. UNLV hasn't led since it was 7-6. Lohaus picks up his second quickly.
Well, just what we mentioned a few minutes ago, at some point you got to look into the big guy. You know, give him the ball before he has to get it off the offensive glass. And that's what they did at that time.
Make a correction, that last foul was on Gary Wright, and that is his third. The leading scorers so far, Lohaus and Armstrong with 10. Armin Gilliam has 13 for UNLV. Lawrence West has come into the lineup now for UNLV. Wears number 3, junior out of San Diego.
Gilliam, the shooter.
Well, I'm sure Iowa will look to take that last shot. They'll probably look to shoot a firm with about 5 seconds left on the clock, just to make sure that UNLV does not get a possession and have a chance to score at the other end.
Eldridge Hudson back into the lineup for UNLV for the final 33 seconds of the half.
And the reason for this is Coach Tarkanian does not want those players to pick up a cheap foul here in the last 33 seconds of this half.
Gamble back to Armstrong. Guess what?
Picked up the cheap foul. That's a tough position. Coming off the bench, sitting over there for 19 and a half minutes, and coming trying to do something positive. But what happened is West came running at Armstrong, wasn't under control. Armstrong read it and was able to pick up the cheap foul.
Having picked up the foul, West goes to the bench. David Willard back in, number 40. And Armstrong is at the line. Four thus far today.
You know, I can't emphasize enough the way these two teams play Either one has the ability to run off 20 points. And for me, you know, after this UNLV team coming out of the locker room, I would expect that they're going to come out and going to be clawing like nothing else you've seen before. They have 6 seniors on this ball club. This is their last chance. So they know that they have to take a deep breath in that locker room and come out with that intensity.
Well, given the method of their play, 16 is not too much to overcome. Gilliam doesn't get it. Another rebound for Iowa. Iowa has already shot 23 free throws. And as the buzzer sounds, Marble tries for 3. Well, it's a heck of a spurt for Iowa. That's the end of the first half with a score of 58-42. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship continues after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Quaker State Motor Oil. When car-carrying people reach for the best, they reach for Quaker State Motor Oil. Pontiac, America's road car company. Pontiac, we build excitement. And by the Champion Spark Plug Company.
Okay, thanks. My insurance rep says go with the GM parts.
Great. You'd be surprised how many imitation parts are around.
Really?
I always assumed GM fenders were replaced with GM fenders. Turns out there are all kinds of imitation parts, and some don't even come close to GM specs for fit, finish, and corrosion protection. So remember, even if an insurance company is paying, it's still your car, and it's still your choice. Insist on genuine General Motors parts.
So, what do you want to do today?
Here comes excitement. Pontiac. Here come the hot cars. With a feel for the road. Pontiac.
So, what do you want to do tonight?
Excitement. Pontiac.
Scottsdale, Arizona. Built from little more than desert sun and desert air. Where city leaders use computers to connect every department of city government. Computers from Unisys. Unisys helps Scottsdale's leaders meet growing demand so efficiently that over the last 6 years, property taxes have actually gone down. Unisys and government, the power of 2.
This week, be sure and watch The Popcorn Kid on Monday night just before Newhart. You gonna watch?
I'll watch anything named after a wholesome snack. I used to love the Partridge Family.
This is CBS.
The satisfaction comes built in with a Honda, especially with a Selma Honda.
Well, Mayor Oates, fill her up with Super 76 unleaded.
There's a super spirit.
Murph, is it really the highest octane premium in town?
Sure is.
Spirit, the highest octane spirit.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, look at Super 76 as more power for your political machine.
Oh, well.
The spirit of Super 76.
New car, highest octane gas. How could the girls resist, Jill?
Beats me. The spirit of 76.
Final spot up for grabs for New Orleans. And at halftime, Iowa leads UNLV 58-42. You know, yesterday, the day belonged to the Big East. Today, at least to this point, it's belonged to the Big Ten. James, everyone knows the UNLV plays a fast-paced ball game, but their interior defense, someone should put up a wake-up call in for those guys.
People talk about the UNLV defense. It's strong on the perimeter, but not on the inside, and Iowa's just ramming it down their throats. This nice pass from Gary Wright to Roy Marble, indicative of the unselfishness on the part of Iowa. Good eye communication between those two players made it happen.
All right, people are wondering, can UNLV come from behind? 6 times during the season, the Running Rebels have trailed. They've won all 6 ball games, including 20 down to Western Kentucky in the NIT final, winning that game and trailing New Mexico State by 19 on the road and coming back and winning that game as well. Now, the winner of this contest goes on to play Indiana, champions today in the Midwest final, 77-76. Hoosiers coming back from 12 down with 13 minutes to go to beat the 10th-seeded Tigers, who put up quite a fight today. Here's some of the action. LSU making the steal. And up it goes to Anthony Wilson for the jam. Bobby Knight was hit with a tee in the first half of this ball game. Almost got hit with a second one.
I got a little bit excited because I didn't know whether it was a 3-second violation or a foul. The guy made no indication. I thought it was extremely poor officiating.
Hoosiers on the comeback. Joe Hillman. This was a key bucket. The hoop and a foul. Cut at the 4, and now we'll pick it up trailing 1.
Thomas got Vargas in the air and was short, but Callaway comes in the offensive rebound. Timeout, LSU. It ain't over till it's over.
And as Brent and Billy call it, this was LSU's chance to win the game.
Inside, Nikita Wilson at the buzzer. Indiana wins it. The Hoosiers go to the Final Four.
This is what you play for, and these 2 hours have been the most fun I've ever been into, and we're very optimistic, and it's great. It's a great feeling.
It's a great feeling, all right, and it's a feeling that Bobby Knight will be experiencing for the 4th time in his career, James.
But he may not want to see Iowa down the road. Iowa's the only team that's ever scored 100 points on a Bob Knight coached team, and Iowa did it this year, 101, so look out.
All right, those 2 teams met twice during the regular season. They split the 2 ball games. Here's the schedule for next Saturday. We can set it for you right now. 3rd round coverage of the TPC will get underway at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Then at 3:30 from New Orleans, the Final Four will be here. Game 1 will be Providence against Syracuse, that Big East rematch, if you will. And that'll be followed by Indiana against the winner of the game you're watching, Iowa and UNLV. And then on Monday night, our championship game gets underway at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we'll continue on the road to the Final Four in just a moment.
Mazda wanted me to tell you about their brand new 4x4, but I'd rather show you. I hammered this truck for days to see for myself just how good it really is. Bottom line, best 4x4 I've ever driven, period. Another real surprise was that Mazda's loaded up SE5 4x4 is priced close to the other guy's stripped down 4x4s. Now, if you ask me, that's worth jumping about.
It's not too early to plan to attend one of the nation's most exciting sporting events. Next year, see college basketball at its best. To receive your 1988 NCAA Final Four ticket application, call 913-262-1988 during business hours, or write the NCAA at 1988 Final Four Tickets, P.O. Box 1906, Mission, Kansas 66201. Remember, call 913-262-1988 during business hours for a ticket application.
Most major college referees are working about 50 games during the season, give or take a few. The 3 or 4 hours before the game is when you get ready for a big game. We're not any different than the player or the coach. We have to get ourselves up. We have to start the concentration. We have to get ready for the big ball game.
We talk about pregame preparation. We talk about things that could happen during the course of the game to make sure that the game runs smoothly.
Once the game gets started, you know, you kind of tunnel vision your mind and the referee in the ball game, and I don't really think of anything outside of the peripheral of officiating the game.
It's a tremendous mental preparation. I think in theater, when you put your costume on and you walk onto the stage and you present yourself. So true, I think, in officiating.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
In recent NCAA tournaments, there's been a tendency to regard UNLV as what they call in Vegas as a lounge act. But this year, Jerry Tarkanian has become a headliner at the tournament. Still apart from his basketball team, we know little about that school, so we dispatched our Gary Paul Gates to the desert for a look at the quiet campus in the shadow of the neon strip.
People seem to have trouble imagining a real university in the shadow of the Strip.
The famous Vegas Strip, a landmark that speaks for itself.
This is the perception that UNLV has to live with, and the people here insist it is not their true identity. They point out that on this campus there are no garish, neon-lighted signs directing students to class. nor is there any...
There's Jerry Tarkanian now in his 14th year as head coach at UNLV. That towel has become almost as famous as Jerry. John Thompson has a towel. Bill Frieder has a towel. But there's no test tester for Henry VIII.
Well, I'm sure that UNLV had heard a few words from Jerry Tarkanian at halftime.
I think he waved the towel, perhaps.
Waved the towel. He might have snapped that towel a little bit at that locker room because his team just did not play the way they normally do. But again, this team, being down 16, has the ability to come back because they pressure defensively. They look for the three-point shot. I think one thing they have to do is get the ball inside a little bit more to their man, Armin Gilliam.
In the first half, Iowa 73%. UNLV only 38%. They were 4 of 17.
Haven't done the last 7 minutes of this basketball game come out denying that first pass.
Wade takes the shot. Lowhouse with the rebound. Quickly up to B.J. Armstrong. Loose ball controlled by Armstrong, and alertly he gets it back to Lowhouse. Set the lineups now. Armstrong joined by Lowhouse, Gary Wright, Kevin Gamble, and Roy Marble for Iowa. And for UNLV, Baz Knight and Banks join Armin Gilliam, Mark Wade,